You know, what we in the same thing.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, let's do the roll call, please, Debbie.
Okay, we have Vicky Clues,
Here.
Patty Thayer,
Here.
Carrie Wydowski,
Here.
Yvonne Green, Spencer Scott,
Here.
Betsy is not here yet, Carrie Hernandez here, and Nick Thayer.
Here.
Yes, let's fix these echoes, please.
Oh, you need to-
All right, next we have approval of tonight's agenda. Do we need a roll call for that or just a raised hands, Debbie? Approval of the agenda for tonight? All the ayes? Anybody know? Now we need to know if anybody has a conflict of interest or any of the items we're covering tonight. All right, and then we need to,
Well, can you just say who,
all ayes.
but who made the motion and who made the second?
Oh, you said it was just a hand raise.
Oh, let's go back. We
I'll
need a
make the
motion.
motion
Okay,
to approve the agenda.
Second it.
Thank you.
and now just vote again.
All ayes. Thank you. Thank
There we
you.
go.
Oh, okay. Consent agenda time.
And
So
you did the conflict of interest already? Okay.
no conflict of interest. Consent agenda, the draft minutes for the March meeting. As well as the second meeting that we had in April. Any comments or? Anything to be removed? Discussion? No?
I move to approve them both.
Thank you, Nick.
Whitney.
Seconded by Carrie.
And then just say all those in favor.
All those in favor? Okay, so now we have council member comments of items not on the agenda. I will start by saying that at the next regular meeting, which will be in July, I will be asking that the council update our bylaws to include a name change for the Hacienda area to West Forestville. To better reflect the fact that Hacienda is a great little area within our whole neighborhood. And they have a very strong homeowners improvement association, very recognized as that one little part of the neighborhood. And this better reflects the fact that, you know, we cover many neighborhoods in West Forestville, from Martinelli all the way over to Oddfellows. So just to keep that in mind. Any other comments by anybody else? Nick, I was hoping that we might get an update on the.
Oh, the emergency drill?
Yes,
I wasn't able to attend, I was out of town, but from what I heard, there was very low participation from Rio Nido. Participation from Hacienda was higher. There were some concerns about the volume of the high-low sirens. A lot of people didn't hear them. Let's see, there was some confusion despite pretty extensive advertising of the drill. So yeah, we just had our after action meeting today about that. So the emergency management department and emergency services are all aware of those
Okay.
issues. Yeah,
I know Hacienda had pretty good attendance and
Yeah.
I didn't hear the sirens, but I'm on the other side of the river, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure that
Yeah.
holds. Oh, also we attended as the MAC as the Fix It Fair in Forestville a couple weeks ago. That's a really fun one to do. And I just want to remind people that, you know, part of what our responsibility is to get out to our communities and talk to people and engage. And one easy way to do that is to help table at some of these events that we do. Because you can really meet your neighbors and others, and get the word out and hopefully recruit for people coming in. All right, now, Debbie, I'm gonna move to public comment. So,
For items not on tonight's agenda,
sorry,
for items not listed
Yes.
on tonight's agenda.
yes. So public members, yes, ma'am. Can you come up to the podium, please, so that they can see you online?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi.
And you have 2 minutes.
Is there a timer or will someone?
Yeah.
You'll wait for me? I timed myself, so I think
Okay.
we should be okay. but-
Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Spates, and I'm the new project manager responsible for standing up an ad-free community radio station based in Monterey. The station's primary mission is to enhance public safety, to serve as a source of accurate, straightforward information, including weather reports, river height projections, evacuation warnings and orders, and so on, during storms, red flag warnings, wildfire, and other societal disruption. Despite a general perception that radio is a dying medium, it's actually the gold standard for disaster communications. And local radio, powered by a generator, sent to your solar or battery-powered transistor radio from just a few miles away, can help save lives and property. It can also boost morale, like give you something to listen to when you're stuck up on Starrett Hill without Facebook. Our station, not that I know anything about that, our station 96.3 FM will be tied into the National Emergency Alert and Public Warning Systems, ensuring residents get information and direction from local, state, and federal officials in times of crisis, whether or not you have electricity or a charged cell phone. We'll provide updates with data from organizations like the California Nevada River Forecast Center, NOAA, and the National Weather Service. We'll also be tied into updates from the County Emergency Ops Center. We have until February 2027, that's 9 months, to secure land for the tower, a location for our station, to fundraise for hardware, to deploy engineers to build out the tech, and to broadcast a signal in order to secure our FCC license. So you'll be seeing a lot of me this summer and into the fall as I visit community groups to explain our mission and hit up charitable organizations for funding. We estimate our startup costs at about $35,000. I've lived in Monterey for 10 years, and I'm a freelance journalist by trade. I've evacuated for fires and gotten stuck during floods, and I've covered our disasters for KRCB and other outlets. I also won a national award for investigative reporting and editing about the Tubbs fire. I'm excited to help my neighbors stay connected and safe with this really rad, really special, ad-free local radio station. So keep an eye and an ear out for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Best, I think oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm James Egalski from Rio Nito, and just 3 very, very quick items that I want to present to the MAC that maybe we can get some direction and incentive to move on. First, I've been on my street 25 years, and it's never been repaid. So we need to get some initiative to get some of the smaller roads repaid. Second thing that we were talking about recently is on Willow Road and Rio Nito Road. Those actually are nicely paved in Rio Nito, but they are there's like traffic speeding going across there. Some residents comment that their children have to cross the street to get to the school bus and stuff, and people, because those roads are straight, nicely paved, people shoot across them, 45 miles an hour. So we'd like to see if there's a way, avenue that we could initiate the county to put speed bumps in there. The third thing, which I haven't really pursued yet, is back in the 70s, Rio Nito was considered not the greatest place to be because of the drug houses and things like that. So the realtors back then got a hold of the county tax assessor's office and had all our addresses changed on the county from Rio Nito to Guerneville. So we'd like to have that, find a way that we can get that corrected and get our addresses changed. And with our new postal system, all our addresses now are Rio Nito 95446. So if we can just get a little bit of direction or help in those three items, it would be really appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Vesta, are you ready?
Vesta Cope Sticks, Forestville. I am proud that my neighborhood just became Firewise certified. And it's kind of an exciting thing to do. It took a year and a half to accomplish. But one of the things that it does is it inspires adjoining neighborhoods to become Firewise certified. And each time you put up a sign that says you're Firewise certified, it inspires other people. And we're all looking to have just one neighborhood into another, into another, into another, so that if fire comes, it hits a nice wall of fire prevention. So one of the things that's happening now, and I don't think there's anything, such a thing as too much promotion, is the river tours. I took one of these river tours last year in the Hacienda area, and right down to evacuation routes where you can't get out via car, but you can via foot. There are these lovely little signs, and people maintain the paths down the hills to the safe place where everybody has agreed to gather. As there's so much people can do, and a lot of people still think we're in the forest and we can't do anything, but it's not true. You can actually do a lot. And so these tours are inspiring to do that kind of thing for your own neighborhood. And getting that Firewise certification, I've had all these neighbors come up to me and say, oh my God, that they actually gave me a reduction on my insurance. I can't believe it. You said they would, and they did. So now we're heading into our 3-year action plan. That's one of those things you have to do. So when you think about getting Firewise certified, take pictures before, so you have an assessment of what your situation is now. And then as you do the work to get certified, you keep taking pictures of what you have accomplished. And then once you get certified, you have to do the same thing, take pictures and then keep going on just to basically, every hour that you work is worth $30 as a way to qualify for Firewise certification. Every dollar you spend, some of these neighborhoods have a couple $100,000 of work that they have done, which is usually volunteer, just do work parties. Work parties are great because other neighbors get together and work together and have a good time and get to know people that they didn't know otherwise. So I highly recommend these tours. Take one. There's lots of them going on until the end of October, middle of October. It's really good to do.
And are the flyers in the back?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Any other public
Hi.
comments? Hi.
My name is Christine Anderson. I work for Permit Sonoma with the SoCo Adapts program, which is the FEMA BRIC program, the Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities. We currently have a project going on where we're offering no-cost assessments for people in the Guerneville area. Actually, we'll be in Guerneville in the middle of June, so we're coming up with that. The purpose of these assessments is to educate the property owners on how you can make your property safer, reduce the risk of wildfire. There's no code enforcement involved. There's no fines, there's no nothing. We're just trying to educate and help you learn how you can make your property safer. We are focusing on zone 0, which is 0 to 5 feet from your house. And then zone 1 is 25 to 30 feet. Zone 2 is 30 to 100, which I think most parcels in this area are not quite that big, but maybe. We're really also focusing on this being a community-wide effort. As the lady said, if you get one area fire-wise or mitigated, then you can help save, like it. All the houses really need to participate. And what I'm here tonight, actually, I have some handouts on the back, English and Spanish. There's just different things. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have at a later time. And I'm really also asking for help in spreading the word. We really want as many people to participate as possible. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me.
How do people sign up?
Oh, they can sign up on there's a wildfire SoCoAdapts.org is the website. And if you go to WRC, which is the wildfire result, and there's a QR code. Thank you. There's a QR code back there and you can see if your property is in, and if you're not a QR code, use the phone number that's on there or the email address and we will let you know.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
This is
And then you
not a
had some
time for
things to share.
discussion.
Oh, sorry.
It's,
We can't have discussion, but you had some things to share with them
Oh,
for you to pass those
Yeah,
out.
I forgot, sorry.
And I just want to chime in on Monday, here in this office, we do cafecitos. So just like a coffee gathering for community members from 9 to 10. And Christine will be a guest there to answer questions or anybody who wants to come, have coffee and learn more about SoCo Adapts.
Repeat where again? When?
Here,
Yeah.
Monday morning, 9 to 10 AM. Yes.
any other, okay, come on up. Thank you.
And we do have a few online.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is John Templeton. I'm here to discuss a kind of ongoing and worsening problem of illegal dumping along our roads. I live up above Burnwood Park, so west of Guerneville, up Old Mont Rio Road, Duncan Road, Siri Road. And I have a map with the locations marked and some photos, so I'd like to leave those. And so maybe we can have some follow-up. The problem's been ongoing for years, and we've called the, various times for help with pickups. Some years back, my wife and I pulled like 13 tires out of one of these two ravines and took them to the Conservation Corps event that they had for a free drop off. And so within the last year, we had 5-gallon bucket. I was gonna dispose of it, turned out to be human waste, and called the county, and hazmat people came out, took care of that. Now what we've got happening in the last year, I'd say, is large appliances being dumped over the edge, mattresses, upholstered material. Again, I have photos that are marked the exact locations where this is happening. The stuff is so large right now that it's not something we can deal with. As neighbors, can't really chip in and get a vehicle with a winch and pull that stuff up or down. So we need help with getting this taken care of. Right now, it's quite an eyesore. It's very evident, visible from the road. I'm worried that this dumping is going to continue as the location gets known. It's remote enough that people can go up there at night, do their dumping, and but it's close to River Road. So anyway, I have these materials. I could probably leave them with you, Jay.
Yeah.
And then we would have some follow-up. So we'd be interested in getting the immediate problem taken care of, that stuff hauled away, but then also trying to develop some kind of a plan to prevent this from being an ongoing problem.
We'll talk cameras.
Thank you.
I think you already have that, but just in case.
Yeah. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Anyone else in the public? Steve?
Hi, Steve Finnegan from Russian River Terrace and the HCT Cope Firewise. Thanks for those who made the tour, Nick. And thanks for talking about SoCo Adapts. We've spoken on the phone.
Yeah.
I know that this is going to be an agenda topic, but for me, it's trying to implement some of the things you mentioned, because we helped start a Firewise Council and a Cope group. And now we're trying to implement some changes with the county, and appreciate Shay's work, Vicky's work. I don't know if Cindy Foreman's on right now, but it's trying to implement the policy. And what we really need is help from the county. We need help implementing these county-owned lots. There are county-owned lots, and the county needs to give permission. CAL FIRE's already cleared some of the brush, but we need permission for these county-owned lots. So specifically, that's what, thank you, Che, and, but yeah, there's a lot of different things. The sirens, just mentioned that. We have an air raid siren in Summer Home Park, and it'd be great if we hook that to the Department of Emergency Management, so it could be activated from the Department of Emergency Management, because you can hear it from upriver. And so, that's one thing that could be done with, working with the regional parks. I think we have some from the regional parks here. And, we'd like to, get that air raid siren in Summer Home hooked up. So, you don't just have to rely on high-low sirens. So trying to be constructive and focused, but, just asking for help from the county, specifically for those county-owned lots that, I'm a broken record on that, but it's like, we really could use your help. And I pulled a vest and I made a sign for evacuation route, so those will be up this summer. And we could use some more, no dumping signs as well, so, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Anyone else in the public comments? Okay, come on up to the podium, please.
Hi,
Hi.
my name's Jennifer Wertz. I've been a volunteer here for probably about 10 years now. I was a MAC rep in the beginning, like the first one here.
Good.
You guys are doing a lot better now. I'm here tonight because I've been working in this community garden here. So I've been spending a lot of time downtown in this area that I wouldn't normally be spending. And, there's some issues with the homeless camps around here. And last week, I think it was Sunday, there was a fire at Fife Creek underneath the bridge. It was pretty significant. There was a couple of explosions. The fire department luckily is close and got there quickly, and it wasn't a windy day, so they got it out pretty quick, but it was, it had the potential to be a really big problem, And then I think a couple hours later, one of these RVs caught on fire right here, a block away. So, I've been here for a while, and in the summertime, a lot of these folks come out here and there's a lot of new faces right now. I know we hear that a lot, but I mean, like, really noticeably. There's one guy selling food out of a trailer and yelling at people and cussing them out and stuff, but what happens is we get a lot of new people, and they want, in the summertime when it's nice, they want to camp in the woods, and they want to cook, and they want to have warming fires and stuff. And so that's very concerning because, we get lucky a lot, but one of those things gets away, and we've seen what can happen on a bad day. And so I would like to see as much outreach as possible and as much enforcement of the fire safety laws as possible. And that's what I came here to say.
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the room? Okay, let's go to online, Debbie.
Chase and Pulse.
Phil Gross, you can speak.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about the Russian River Town Tours, and first thing I need to say is I did not pay Vesta for her endorsement, but thank you, Vesta. Appreciate it very much. The Russian River Town Tours are one town a month between now and October. The next tour is Sunday at Gernwood Park. People need to register so we know who's coming and can direct them to the meeting point. So if there's anybody there that wants to attend on Sunday, the registration is already closed, but Vicky and Nick both have my email address. If you get in touch with me, I will be happy to add you to the list. The serious purpose of these tours is for community leaders up and down the lower Russian River and community members to get to learn a little bit more about their neighboring towns. When we have to evacuate in an emergency, we're all going to be on the road at the same time, and it would be really good if the community leaders of the towns up and down the lower Russian River could all work together. We have to work together now because we're all going to be together on the road. So it's a really interesting series of tours. It's a lot of fun too. Vicky, thank you for having the flyers printed up. And again, I want to invite everybody to attend. And if anybody wants to come this Sunday, talk to Vicky or Nick after the meeting, and they can give you my address and we'll get you included. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Others online?
Vera the Mermaid, you can speak.
Hello, thank you for having me, and everybody. I love listening to your talks. So, should I begin? Can you hear me?
Yes.
That you need.
Okay, I'm in my garden right now. Okay, so I prepared a 2-minute talk. Hello, MAC representatives. This is Vera Faust, Projects Manager for Friends of Fife Creek Bridge to Bridge Restoration Project and 4,000 square foot Butterfly Garden Project. We are located across from Safeway in Guerneville, established 12 plus years now. Friends of Fife Creek nonprofit under Community Clean Water Institute 501c3. We are a small grassroots group dedicated to protecting the Russian River salmon population, the riparian habitat in Fife Creek, and Russian River watershed. Fife Creek is one of the most important creeks, blowing out seasonally, usually October, when the salmon are coming up to spawn. And as you probably know, the fire was May 3rd that Jennifer Wirtz was talking about. And yeah, Vesta, thank you, you guys. Fire resiliency. Okay, so we are educating the unhoused, the local residents, the visitors, the community, and volunteers about the importance of keeping Fife Creek and all waterways clean. At many local events, social media, newspapers, radio, fundraisers, volunteer day, by the way, Thursday, 2 p.m. till dark, across from Safeway, and garden celebrations. We educate people. Our motto, a clean creek is a safe creek. Help us keep it clean and safe. We've removed tons of toxic debris. We've amended the soil. We took out the invasive plants. We planted native plants back. We brought life back onto Fife Creek. And let's not forget, the health of our waterways reflects the health of our community. We we no longer have the volunteers to maintain Brookside Lane restoration. Goldridge.
Thank you.
Vera, we're over the 2 minutes now.
Okay.
We appreciate that you brought this to us.
Yeah, we're trying to become a public community space, and Goldridge RCD is helping us. We need funding for water solution, riparian habitat. And yeah.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you. Thank
Thank you. Okay, that Goldbridge will be here in July, by the way. Anybody else online?
Becky Boyle, you can now speak.
Hey there, thanks for the call. Also calling in on behalf of HCT COPE. We had a great success and appreciation for CAL FIRE. They did an immense amount of help with us out here clearing roadway, brush on Canyon and Scenic Summer Home. We are currently working out strategies to facilitate the terraces, Woodside, all of the offshoots. If anybody out there is in the HCT area, we would so greatly appreciate hearing from you. There's only a few of us and there's a lot of you. So any help we have in getting into communication with you guys would be super great. And not to beat a dead horse, but to follow up on Steve's point, we really need the county's help, in particular with the properties that they have ownership of, in getting some of this work done, as so many lots they feel very abandoned and uncared for, and we just want to get a mutually resolvable situation to where everybody is safe, and the county has done their part in helping to keep us safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Shay, anyone else online?
No.
Okay. So moving on to county update.
Yes, so
Supervisor Hopkins is not here, so
she could not be here. She had a schedule conflict, and the county update is three items that council members have asked for updates on in the past. One of them is what is the West County Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District? So some of you might have heard of that. Some might have questions about it. It's a complex issue. I'm not going to try to explain it as Supervisor Hopkins would be able to. But we have prepared information in writing on Supervisor Hopkins' website. There's a key topics and links drop-down menu that has these items on it. So among other things, there's the West County EIFD, and a Q&A on some of the questions that people have been having around George's Hideaway. It's slated to start leasing up late this month. And so some questions came from that, and so those can both be found on Supervisor Hopkins' website. And then a lot of folks also, this, I have a few extra, all of the council members, you all have copies of these. Anybody who wants to get this handout, it's not online at this point, and I have a few copies here, but I could send them to anyone, is on HR1, which is the federal budget legislation, and how that's going to impact Sonoma County. So you're probably hearing a lot about that. The supervisors had budget workshops just in the past several weeks, and so this is information that's as current as we have at this juncture. And so anyone who's interested in that, I know some of the council members get questions from the community. So you all that have the handouts, and anybody else who wants it can certainly get it. And that is all I have for county update.
Was Che going to give an update on the?
Yes,
Airport
noise,
noise.
gotta give a little.
Yeah, I can speak to the airplane noise issue. We've been seeing a lot of press currently about airplane noise. What has basically happened is the FAA, about 2 years ago, decided to change how they ran our routes. And we were currently, as the county, as the airport, working on arrivals because that was the big noise issue. We just had selected a person to, or a firm to do the work, and the FAA changed the departure runs. And what happened is essentially, instead of spreading the pain all over West County, they concentrated that pain and these routes very much over Forestville, Occidental, Brayton, Bodega, my home, where all of them come right together. I want to highlight very clearly that this is a federal issue. Basically it goes feds, state, and us, and they don't really listen to us very well. However, my boss has worked very, very hard, has worked with Congressman Huffman, has had multiple memos, letters going out to the FAA. And we have been working with a local group, the West County Jet Noise Coalition, to advocate. They are extremely well organized for the community groups that I work with. And they have been focusing on how we can advocate more effectively with the FAA, with the feds. They're doing a great job of being a pain with the FAA because that's the only way that things get done occasionally. And so we do have some hope. We've had some responses from them that sounds like they understand the issue. They understand that it is their route that they have chosen is problematic. Whether that results in change with the federal government at this time, I don't know. It takes a very long time for that to change. And in the meantime, our folks, especially on our hilltops, have planes, have jets, especially the ones that are fully loaded, coming in at 500 feet over their homes, which is unconscionable. That's just, it has been life-changing for some of these folks that moved out to the country to live a rural, quiet lifestyle, and suddenly they are literally under a runway.
Right.
So that's the current update on what's going on with the jet noise issue, and I can take any questions. So.
Well, I understand that there's about 22 flights a day or something, right? Oh, okay.
Council member first and then, yeah.
Are members of the community still encouraged to keep making reports?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You will see that we had reports go up 4,000%. So that's a really helpful metric to beat the feds with.
Yeah. There was an article in the press town about.
That's this week.
Yesterday, yeah.
Is that stsgoodneighbor.com?
It is STS Good Neighbor. If you Google STS Good Neighbor, it'll pop up. And I
It'll
should,
be in a newsletter too.
yeah.
The next newsletter.
Yeah.
That was my question. Got it.
And I do want to highlight really quickly that we are getting a lot of press about new flights and new carriers coming into STS. The general plan limits the amount of flights that we can have out of that facility. And so those are all just replacing flights that went away from, say, Avella, which none of us were really a fan of.
Any other council members?
I'd like to make a quick comment. I'm also I work with Kelly, the Kelly program in Medi-Cal all the time and every day. And I'd like to point out that I'm a good resource for strategy and resources to help to address the HR1 issue.
Thank you, Betsy. All right, the public, yes,
And if you can come up to the.
please come up to the podium. Someone had a comment?
Oh, just a,
So online can hear you.
Yes.
okay.
Your name and where you're from.
Gene Tigalski from Rio Nito. Just a quick question. Is the issue just the 22 commercial flights a day, or does it also include private jets and private prop planes
It does include private.
and helicopters?
Yep, absolutely.
So the noise is from all of those issues.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good comment. The helicopters are getting me. Steve, did you have a question or comment?
Yes,
You
thank
can-
you. Steve, Finnegan, Russian River Terrace, it's directed towards Che, but it's not regarding the airport, it's regarding a county update regarding roads. And I know that may be covered under public safety, but also just wondering specifically what I had asked about, whether or not there is money being sought to repair the section of Summer Home Park Road that Supervisor Hopkins gave a update on last summer. Is that something that you said in June that goes the budget, there would be the budget committee? Is that something Supervisor Hopkins will be advocating for money to repair that?
Absolutely, yeah, and I do have a line out to public infrastructure to ask about what that process is looking like right now. I did not get that for the MAC, and I know that's what you.
No, I understand, yeah, so, but then in regards to those other asks of the right of way of the county agencies that oversee those specific areas, is that something Supervisor Hopkins' office would be able to assist with, or is that permit Sonoma's realm?
The right of way would be public infrastructure, so that would be me, and still digging into some of those questions.
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you for your patience, I know it takes a lot.
Thank you.
Anyone online who has county
No
questions?
online questions?
So,
No, okay. So I'd like to invite, how are we gonna do the panel, by the way? What's-
so the panelists are gonna have these two seats. Terry, could you?
Yes.
Scoot down.
So
And
our,
then-
our panel members can come on up.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not sure.
Ken, did you wanna bring your colleague out? Because I don't have I said for one.
He's got a lot, but if he has anything to say.
Okay, and then if he wants to add in, then he can come to the podium. Oh, okay, sorry about that, so, hi. So these 4 seats are for our panelists, and then Cindy, if you can, and, oh, yes. Yeah, he's on the panels, so one here,
Right here.
one here. Why do I not have another chair? Yeah, then Jeff, you can be right here. Sorry about that.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, sorry about that.
I came
Sorry,
in
I
late.
heard you again.
I'm on panel now.
You're on
And
the
then-
panel?
Yeah.
Oh, no, but then he was gonna go over, I did have a seat for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, why don't you go over next? Yeah, then you can be
We'll have to
closer.
see, guys.
Right there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right, good, good,
Sorry
good
for the
categorizing,
confusion.
okay.
Oh.
And then I'll bring, and this TV is on, so Cindy, if you can,
Is Cindy online?
yes, there's.
Oh, I
Let me
see.
just pin, I'm just gonna pin that up, 'cause that's all we need to see. You don't need to see
There's Cindy.
ourselves. Oh, and that. How can I do that?
Okay. Debbie, are we ready?
Let me just get a better
It was frozen.
screen over on this side. I'm not sure why. Yeah, Cindy's frozen. Oh, that's better. But I don't know why.
Debbie, I'm just gonna test my audio. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. we can hear you.
Yes, great. Okay. We are ready to begin.
Great. So our main topic today is on safety, coming up for our summer season. And we have a number of people here who are gonna talk about their specific areas. If you can introduce yourselves, maybe starting with you, please. You, yes.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Campbell. I work for the communications team for Sonoma County Regional Parks.
Parks, okay.
Kelly Bass Seibel, I'm the Vice President of Community Engagement with Sonoma County Tourism.
Great.
I am Jeff Weiss. I am a public information officer for Caltrans, which is the state highway system.
I'm Kenneth Anger with the California Highway Patrol.
Great. So I'm gonna invite you to tell us anything you'd like to before we start asking you questions about. Oh, Cindy, sorry. I'm terrible about the online stuff. Cindy, you're there. Introduce yourself.
No worries. Good evening. My name is Cindy Foreman. I'm a Division Chief and Fire Marshal for the Sonoma County Fire District.
Great. Thank you for being here, by the way.
Thank
you. I don't know if you've prepared anything to start, or you just want us to start asking questions. And do you have?
Yeah, I can start. Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm Sergeant Kenneth Inger with California Highway Patrol. This is Officer Matilde over here. We are part of the CHP Santa Rosa's high impact traffic team that fields complaints and concerns of traffic related issues throughout Sonoma County's unincorporated areas. Our team also includes 2 officers who are dedicated to enforcing trespassing laws on state property. We work closely with the Sonoma County Sheriff's Department, and when we notice issues arise or become aware of traffic related issues, we use proactive enforcement and education to attempt to resolve the issue. We also work with Che Hisul from Supervisor Linda Hopkins' office. They field complaints and then send them over to me, and then that gets dispatched out into the field. Some of the areas we have been actively working on to improve is traffic enforcement, parking enforcement, and encampment cleanup. Just to put our efforts into numbers, I've compiled some statistics for the West County area over the past 3 years. I want to note that these numbers do not paint the entire picture of our efforts in West County. In West County alone, from May 1st, 2023 to May 11th, 2026, CHP has issued 1,234 traffic citations. We've made 268 arrests, investigated 135 traffic crashes out here on the river, 16 being fatality crashes, with 8 of those being DUI or drug related. We have stored or impounded, towed 849 vehicles from the river area as well. Some of the areas where you routinely see issues pop up in the lower Russian River area that we work to stay on top of are the abandoned and or lived in vehicles and encampments. Some of the problem areas are the 116 bridge over the Russian River, Drake Road under the 116, campers and RVs parked throughout Guerneville and Armstrong Woods Road, 116 and the Fife Bridge here that recently had the fire. It's been cleaned up. And then 116 at Lovers Lane Bridge as well, which is recently cleaned up. We also have some issues with RVs on Moscow Road, right in Monte Rio there. Our goal is to keep these areas cleaned up and get those in need of help access programs and assistance and attempt to keep those areas clear. CHP assists with many events in West County throughout the year. We have a few coming up this summer. These events bring a lot of people and traffic into the area, and CHP assists to ensure a safe event with minimal impact to the local community. Some of the events that will be coming up are the Forestville Parade, the Russian River Rodeo, Lazy Bear Week, and the Guerneville Pride Parade. We're going to step up enforcement during that and assist with those events. CHP will also step up patrols in West County throughout the summer months with the expected crowds and traffic from tourists visiting the Russian River area. We expect parking issues to rise, and I would like to remind the residents to please call on these violations, as it will help direct our resources to the problem areas as they occur. CHP's mission is to provide the highest level of safety, service, and security to all. I'm a resident of West County and take pride in working in the community, and here to answer any questions anyone has. That's it.
We'll go through the introductions first.
Okay.
Jeff.
I'm Jeff Weiss, and I work for Caltrans as a public information officer, which is a lofty title, I know, for Sonoma County. So I'm going to run through some projects that we have coming up in Sonoma County on state highways. State highways are the ones with the number. I only say that because sometimes I get questions about, I forgot what road it was. But luckily it was a county road, so I can give it to someone else, but yeah. I get a lot of questions. It's called. I'll remember later. So the projects, we're finishing up right here, in Guerneville. I know it's taken way too long. Right? Yeah. It has taken too long. It has taken too long. The last bit of work to be done is right at the corner here at not at Armstrong Woods, but at River Road and River Road. Old River and River Road, right? They're finishing up there. We're pleading with the contractor to get it done today before Women's Weekend. I don't know if it'll be done tomorrow. It might be on flashing red, which is something is uncool in our book. We've been having a lot of problems with the contractor. So it will be done very soon. We'll see if we can get it done tomorrow. So also I had a question on these pedestrian signals. These are called Hawk pedestrian signals. And apparently people are coming up to them and the traffic comes down the highway and they see the yellow lights and traffic stops. Yeah, I'm a good driver. I'll stop on the yellow instead of red. And then it tempts the pedestrians to cross, which is not good because the driver does not have to stop. And so another driver might not stop, right? Oh, yellow, I don't have to stop. And someone could get hit. So I'm not sure if that's exactly the problem we're talking about, but what I propose to do is, and I did this in Sebastopol, is just hang up some QR codes there at the signals for pedestrians. Pedestrians are the issue because they're the ones that are going to get hit. And drivers, if they will stop for the reds, right? They get confused by the flashing reds, but they will stop for those. But the pedestrians just need to obey the signals and not go when they're tempted to go. I know it's very confusing. I have these sheets online that you can go to with the QR code. I was in Moab, Utah on spring vacation, and Moab is a big tourist town. They got 2 big national parks there, and they were working together. So I was impressed that they were working so well. I don't know how long they've been there, but people caught on after a while. And Moab is a tourist town, just like you're going to get a lot of tourists in the summer. So I thought, yeah, they will work. There's just a period of adjustment, and so we'll do whatever we can if it's posting something on the signal itself, handing out QR codes to help people with the adjustment. We also have this summer coming up 3 bridge railing replacement projects. These are like creeks that are flowing fast in the winter and barely flowing in the summer. But what we need to do is the bridge railings have been there as long as the bridges. So they've been there since the turn of the century. There's a word for that, the turn of the last century. Is it Belle Epoque? I'm not impressing anyone, am I? It was the prior century, like 1916. So the railings are not going to be very supportive if someone rams into it, especially with a truck or something like that. It's going to go right through. So those have to be taken off and repaired. The problem is that the railings, although they're much like guardrail, there's nothing to sit on. Like a guardrail goes into the ground, but on a bridge, it would have to be in the water, right? So the things that hold it on are inside the bridge itself. So it's got a little L thing that goes under the bridge. So that means you have to demo out a whole lane of traffic. So there'll be one-way traffic control on these bridges, which would be Jones Creek and Blucher Creek. And Jones Creek is in Forestville, and Blucher Creek is about 10 miles south of there. So there'd be one-way traffic control there. I know that people are concerned about one-way traffic control in the summer. So that's why I bring it up. And then, of course, then there's the 2 landslides we have down here, one on west side of Monterey and one on the east side. The one on the west side will probably be done in June. The one on the east side, more like August. That's under one-way traffic control. And
you're talking about the retaining wall?
yeah, the retaining walls, the landslide repair. And then this is farther out, but there's a project to repair a slide in Bodega Bay. I know that's a different MAC, but that one hasn't started, so that one they're pushing off until we just found out today they're going to push it off until September, so it won't be during their busy season. And it was supposed to start in February, but it just kept getting pushed back, and we found out today that we can push it back till after the busy season. So that's a great news for the merchants, the restaurants, and the fire department, who has to, I guess, go all the way up to Jenner and back for calls. And with that, I think I'm through.
Well, you're not quite through yet. We'll have some questions.
So this will solve everything.
Cindy, why don't you go ahead? I didn't forget you.
No, I really appreciated the information that Jeff just gave about the Bodega Bay project, because well, again, that's another MAC, and I know that. That was very helpful because we were trying to kind of fish that out today. So thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Good evening. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm not there. I had some home commitments, but I appreciate you letting me come in by Zoom. So obviously we're moving into fire season, and I wish I had a little bit better of a outlook at this moment. But today we were sort of looking at the predicted sort of fire weather, if you will, which I can't believe we're talking about that in May, but we are. And it looks like we're going to have some relative humidity that's going to start to drop. Our temperatures are going to go up, and we're going to start to see some wind events. So, you know, by mid to late, we're at mid now, but by next week and even a little deeper into May, we are likely going to have historical conditions similar to mid-July. So it's just something we got to think about. And so not here to scare you, just here to prepare you. But we are moving into fire season. So obviously we've got that as a concern. We're also moving into that beautiful time of year on the river when everybody's in the water, and on the coast and everybody's in the water. And as we all know, living here and working here, that also comes with its share of tragedy. So, you know, we want to make sure that we are getting good education out to the public about water safety, not just on the Russian River, certainly, but also in our coastal areas. So that's getting really important for us. We're bringing on a new public information officer and community engagement position in about the next month here. So we're looking forward to getting that position up and running and engaged out in our communities again, just like Karen Hancock was. Big shoes to fill, but we've got a really great person coming on board. We're going to be out there hitting the pavement, getting vegetation management inspections done. We're, you know, holding our property owners accountable. We want you to be on top of it. And so we also have a new software. This is a big deal here in the county, and this is part of those tax dollars from Measure H at work. We've got a new software program that's being used universally across the county. So not just across the county, but even across other agencies. We're able to kind of all be on one platform, and there will be pieces of that platform where we can see things that we haven't been able to see in one platform before. So it's going to bring a massive amount of efficiency to not just vegetation management and the inspections we're doing in the community, but also to building projects and putting together vegetation programs through our Firewise communities, through our HOAs, through our COPE groups, really hitting the ground running and giving us a strong platform where all of that data exists. There is the chipper program, again, free chipper program here in Sonoma County. We want to remind people to take advantage of that, as well as the West County chipper program. So if there's communities that ideally want to get together and plan a day to where everybody puts their stuff out, that's the best way to do this, is just get everybody coordinated. So, but you can also use the program individually as property owners. You get 2 treatments a year free. So really want to make sure people are taking advantage of that. We're working really hard trying to put the Measure H dollars on the ground, not just with staffing and infrastructure. One of those pieces for us infrastructure wise is we are actively working for the rebuild of Station 9. So our Guerneville station is frankly it's our home, but it needs help. So we are actively engaged in looking at properties and designing a sustainable fire station for our community. And so that's some of that work that's being done kind of behind the scenes. We're out there really soliciting and working with our communities to get projects developed, projects that have strategic value and community support. We want to get our hands on those. Steve Finnegan's here tonight, and he's one of those just big activists out here on the river that, you know, he's very tenacious about that. And so we are really looking for ways to engage with our communities to get projects into Fire Safe Sonoma, get them looked at, and look at not just Measure H dollars for those, but look at what kind of other grant funding, what other kind of programs we can tap to accomplish that. Because it's not just Measure H that's going to get a lot of the work done in our community. It's going to be through other grants and other opportunities. So I think that's it. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, Cindy, thank you. Kelly, why don't you go?
Okay. I was saying, would it be okay if Sarah went first? Only because we have a lot of partnership, and that way she can, I feel
Sarah,
like,
go first.
yeah, sorry. I'm thinking through, like, everyone's set it up so nicely for me. That this would actually be very helpful. Thank you.
Great, okay, yeah, I'm Sarah with Sonoma County Regional Parks. Thanks for hosting this and inviting us tonight. So summertime is peak season for us at parks. We really spend a lot of time and energy mobilizing at this time. This is kind of basically leading up to Memorial Day. We are really working at a fever pitch to get everything ready to put all of these programs in place that I'm going to talk about. So anyways, I will give a brief overview of the programs that we've had for a while that we're bringing back. There are a couple of things we'll be piloting this year. So to start with, our main goal is to ensure that visitors and residents, but any visitors that come to our park, have a great time, but they stay safe. And we also really, prioritize looking at the impacts that some of the visitors bring with them too on the neighboring communities and how to manage for that. So we are aware that it creates, it's great. People come here every summer to recreate, but it can also create some parking hassles, and it can create traffic. And we really have been trying to work at putting systems in place, learn from them, reiterate, and kind of expand. So in terms of safety, water safety is really important for us. We have a great program through our River Patrol and our Life Jacket Loaner Station. So that, of course, that's been a program we've had for over a decade now. That's coming back this year. So starting Memorial Day weekend at our river parks, including Steelhead, Moms, but Forestville River Access is what we officially call it. Forestville River Access. So I'm gonna use a different terminology, but Forestville River Access and Sunset Beach, as well as Del Rio, and we go upriver as well. But we have free life jacket loaner stations. Those are stands that really are what they sound like. They have a rack of life jackets. They have water safety educational signs, bilingual. Take a jacket, leave a jacket. You can take one, wear it all day. You can turn it in if you're doing a tube float, turn it in at a different park. So that's coming back. That has been a really successful program, supported in part by our foundation, by local community donors here in the community. And that really, I think it was something amazing. Like I think the jackets, there were 29,000 checkouts last year of the jackets is what we estimate. So we only have about 600 to 800 jackets themselves, but the turnover is really high, and they don't all come back to us, of course, but you know, many of them do. And then we also have our award-winning Russian River Patrol, which is a roving team of lifeguards that visits all the river beaches, again, starting Memorial Day weekend, all the way through the summer. These are bilingual lifeguards and rangers that are really going to all the places where we don't have a lifeguarded swimming beach, but they're making contacts with visitors. They are fitting life jackets, really making sure, you know, basically prioritizing education about water safety and that visitors are safe. We do have a lifeguarded beach. That's the one up at Healdsburg Veterans Memorial Beach, but this roving river patrol again has been here a decade or so, and has really reduced the incidence of drowning within regional parks jurisdiction. So that's a really important program. Thousands of contacts are made, and we do track, you know, the rescues and contacts through that program. So we've also got staff support during the summer. So we are staffing up our kiosks. We have a permanent staff kiosk at Steelhead, but we also are doing a temporary seasonal kiosk at Sunset this year. So that is definitely another great point of contact for visitors. It also helps with traffic flow and management. So that will be really important to see how that goes at Sunset this year. We also have our regular patrols at the parks, rangers, but we also have the support of the parks unit from the sheriff's office as well. We are also, this will be the third year we have a 24-hour site host at Steelhead. So that's a 24-hour presence that really helps with, again, kind of that traffic control, answering visitor questions, kind of being like eyes on the ground, but also after hours, that is somebody that, you know, there's a staff presence there at the park. So that's been really successful for us in the last couple of years. We have staff that open and close parks, obviously, and we ramp up our restroom maintenance, we ramp up the trash service, but we also increase our trash capacity. So we are ordering in dumpsters again at kind of, you know, our really big popular parks. So Steelhead, Sunset, we will always order in dumpsters. We're doing that, I think, this week to augment the trash capacity there. And then I think this year we are actually installing additional trash cans at Forestville River Access, and then a few other parks, Del Rio, Riverfront, again, to increase that capacity. Right, sometimes it can be even challenging if we increase staff service, you know, staff going and pulling trash from trash cans. Sometimes with high peak use, it's hard to even access those places, right? So you get the stacking of, right, overflowing trash cans. So also, we have partnered with Russian River Keeper for the last 2 years. With their clean team, they do they do trash cleanup days the Mondays after busy weekends. And thanks to supervisor support, D5, and I think Supervisor Gore's office, we will be able to expand that program a lot this year. So I think it went from, you know, a handful of hours to a lot more dedicated time and more people doing that with the clean team. And then the other thing is also we're piloting a river ambassador program with the Russian River Keeper. So that's brand new. That really dovetails with our Leave No Trace partnership that we really have been working on, a lot of messaging with tourism with Kelly to reach visitors before they actually get to the parks. So that's been really important for us, kind of having that messaging of how to, you know, be a responsible recreator, how to, you know, what the trash and restroom parking expectations are at the park so that people can plan ahead and prepare, have a better time, but also, you know, you don't get in a situation where I don't know where the restroom is, I don't know where the trash can is, right? this will help augment that, because it will make it's direct contact again. So going off of river patrol, really focused on safety, and preventing drowning. This is much more about kind of the visitor education. They will be making direct contact, talking about leave no trace practices. They will be handing out supplies, sunscreen, chapstick, water. Hydration is a big thing. And then, trash bags to people. There'll be a water-based element and also on the beaches. So we hope to have that up and running, I think, by 4th of July weekend. Again, piloting it this year, and then, welcome for feedback and to kind of hear how that goes, and really hoping to expand it more in the following year. So let's see, I know there's more to talk about with Leave No Trace. I can cue you up for that, but we have really been also continuing our Leave No Trace program, right? So with our partnership with tourism, we kind of started a lot of this coming out of COVID to really ramp up how we talk to visitors before they get here. So what do they need to know so they're not getting, if they can plan, they're not getting themselves into situations where it's either a safety issue, but also just, right, where do you find basic needs, or can you use a cell phone, things like that, all this basic information about what it means to be in the parks and visit here. So we have signage. Of course, we cover all of our digital channels. So in the summertime, we do our social media messaging that's Leave No Trace focused. Of course, it's in, newsletter. We do some regional advertising on the radio. And then we also have signage in the parks, and we've also started installing signage along the riverbank, which helps when people are doing a tubing float. They know where they are. They also know what beach they're at. So, they can identify Forestville River access, for example, from the water. And also we have icons that identify that there's trash there. There's a restroom there. So those are places to get out. Those are public property to get out, where it's a good place to go find services. Finally, sorry, I'm probably over 5 minutes. The river shuttle. I hope everyone's familiar with the river shuttle. So that is our seasonal recreation shuttle that is really, it's about helping visitors, access the kind of the popular tube float, right, from Sunset to Steelhead. That's so popular every year. And what, addressing the parking lot capacity and the traffic impacts that were coming from that, right? Our parking lots are filling up. We're having to close them, and people now with the river shuttle can ride from El Molino to Steelhead and Sunset, and basically it does every 30 minutes. It does a circle, so you can park at El Molino for free. Hop on the river shuttle, $5. If 18 and under, you're free. And you can, go for a picnic, or you can be doing a float, but basically it will pick you up, when you get to Sunset and bring you back to El Molino. And again, because of the tube route, typically, even, when you're doing it as an individual, you kind of had to do the 2-car shuffle and figure out where you were going to park. We had 17,000 riders on the shuttle last year. And so if you multiply that, I don't know if everyone was tubing, but that's how many cars, potentially taking out of that busy river corridor. So it's been really successful for us. And again, we're always trying to look for new opportunities to expand that. But that's another, great program that I'm really excited to see coming back. So that's it until questions. So go ahead, Lily.
Thank you for appeasing me. It was so, listening to everybody else, I'm like, hopefully I can wrap up where our piece of the puzzle is in all of this. So, Sonoma County Tourism is the destination stewardship organization for Sonoma County. In other parts of the state and the country and the world, you may hear us referred to as destination marketing organizations. We're very intentionally a destination stewardship organization, because we're not just marketing Sonoma County as a place for visitors to come, but we also want to work with the community and ensure that we are being good stewards, because this is our home too. And wanting to, not just bring people here, but also help mitigate issues as they arise and be good community partners. Sarah referenced, talking to people before they get here. A lot of the messaging that we do, if you're like, I've never seen something Sonoma County Tourism has done, our marketing channels are all going to be outside of Sonoma County. If you're in the Bay Area, if you're in LA, if you're in Dallas, you may have seen some of our marketing, but you typically aren't going to see it in county. That said, we do know that the tourism economy is complicated. And, you know, there's a number of ways that people come here, and a lot of folks are here for the day. We do provide messaging to them, but really we're trying to bring people here for overnight stays. It's better for our communities in terms of people who come here overnight are typically planning a vacation. They're going to spend more in the destination at our local businesses and be better stewards of people who are just coming up for the day. That said, you know, we work with our partners in a number of different ways. And so typically, it's easiest for us to communicate with our hotel properties. And that's just because the way that we are funded is through transient occupancy tax and our business improvement area, which comes from overnight stays. That said, I know that particularly for this area, vacation rentals have been a very sensitive subject. And I say that as somebody who's, my husband's family has owned a house in Guerneville since the 60s. It's not a vacation rental, but it's a very special place for us. And it is surrounded by vacation rentals. That we have worked very hard with Supervisor Hopkins' office over the years to really try to identify the best ways that we can help communicate with that particular segment of ownership in the tourism economy. I know Cindy didn't talk about their vacation rental inspection program, but but I think she should. You know, one of the things that we have done is done a lot more intentional outreach to vacation rental owners around information that they should be providing. We are not Permit Sonoma. We are not a county department. We are a nonprofit organization. So we are not going to be, we can't impose any of the rules, but we can certainly do education. And so we want to be good partners. And oftentimes people will come to us for marketing support, but what we can do is help them understand what other things they should be telling their guests before they arrive. So Sarah talked about our partnership with Leave No Trace. In addition to the messaging they get when we're here, we provide reservation language that can be included. So when someone books their vacation rental or they book their hotel room, we have provided, you know, Leave No Trace messaging that can be just part of that confirmation. There's a lot of information that we utilize, like from parks, around water safety. We've got, if you know, on our pages on the website, if you go looking at the page about you know, swimming at the river, there's language there about water safety and direct links over to you know, the parks pages about water safety and the lifeguard programs and the life jacket loaner station, I think it was like the loaner stations. You know, additionally, we have materials that folks can have in their vacation rentals. Some of them are ones that we've come up with and worked in partnership with the county's Office of Emergency Management, but also there's ones that we just allow people to order from us for free and our partners provide them to us. And I've got some examples here, but and we will just make sure that they have them in their homes. You know, we've done this last year, we just hosted for the first time a vacation rental symposium, which was a half day of education. We had partnerships, we had the Office of Emergency Management, we had the fire district there, Permit Sonoma came. So we could really talk, Regional Parks was there, so we could really talk through to vacation rental owners. And we held it hybrid in person and via Zoom because we do have out of the area owners and we wanted for them to get the information as well. So that they could really understand some of the whys behind why some of the regulations are there, but then also how they could be really good community members while they're renting their homes. In addition to that, we do have a Sonoma County app. And oftentimes, if you're at a visitor center or you are in a hotel lobby, you'll get to see a rack card to download the app. It helps people do itinerary building for the county. Oftentimes, they don't realize how large Sonoma County is and what they have planned in a day is just not achievable. But what's great for us while they're doing their itinerary planning, we also have the ability to do push notifications. So on busy holiday weekends, we can set up push notifications, you know, a mile around one of the river beaches. And it might say, and like the one that we did last year had to do with, you know, if you're hitting up, you know, the beach to float, consider taking the shuttle and like a link to the shuttle page. Additionally, we do also just hear community feedback. And I think I'll stop just because I could talk for quite some time and I'm happy to take questions, but you know, I just want to remind you all that we do want to be good community partners. And sometimes we don't hear about issues with visitors until it has really exploded. So the earlier we hear about things, we are happy to talk through, brainstorm and sit down with you all to figure out what are some other ways that we can, you know, work with our small business owners to do messaging and work on the messaging that we are pushing out into the world about what we expect of people when they come to business. So.
Thank you. So panel members, now we move into questions from council members. So I know everybody has questions. I certainly do, but I'll let somebody else start. Any council members? Go ahead, Carrie.
Hi, thanks. My first question is for Jeff. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you. Do you have any updates regarding Forestville? Do you have any information on the downtown, any work that you're doing there? And anything that's related with Maribel? Is that something you have information on, Maribel Road?
Yeah, we had I think you're talking about the project there's a project to rehabilitate Highway 116 from Monterey all the way to Sebastopol, which includes Forestville.
Correct.
It's rehabilitation is just a fancy word for saying there's some bad spots they'll dig out and then put, you know, some dirt and stuff in there, tamp it down, and then repave. Generally, it's a glorified repaving. But on this project, they've added a lot of things. And they've added bicycle pullouts. They've added some bicycle striping. They've added those hawk systems, those pedestrian crossings that are going to be in Forestville. And then there is the controversy, I don't know if you you're smiling, you obviously do, about the bike class 2 or class 3 bike lane. Class 2 being where you have to move over for the cyclists, right? More of a dedicated lane, but not separated. Class 3 meaning stripes on the road, right? And so people have different opinions, but a lot of people in Forestville don't like the fact that the bike lane would go through there and take some of the parking spaces in downtown. So that's something that's being worked out. It's a joint venture with the county and Caltrans. It hasn't been decided. We had a meeting, it was very contentious. Yeah. Well, it was contentious because we were trying to talk about the entire length of the project, but it ended up being about Forestville. So we wanted to talk about some other things, but that's the update. It's there hasn't been movement on the Forestville part, but we're talking to the Forestville about it, along with the county, and trying to come to some conclusion. The other parts of the project, everyone seems pretty happy with those. You know, in fact, those are the parts where like people want more bike lanes. Like there's parts on 116 in Guerneville where people would like us to push back on the hillside to get more room for cyclists, but it's very difficult because you know you have to build retaining walls. So it's still being decided upon.
The issue in Forestville is it's a very small part of your project.
Yeah.
But it's a big part of, you know, what we consider the town of Forestville. It's 2 or 3 blocks, very few parking places as it is. And this project will take away a significant number of those parking places. And there's businesses along that corridor that will be impacted by that. So it's not a minor issue.
I just wanted to clarify that Maribel is a county project.
County,
Great, thank you. I wasn't sure. I know parks is my number. Thank you.
Okay.
No, we know it. Yeah, we know it. It's very contentious.
Yeah.
So can I ask two? I have one for Jeff and one for Ken.
Sure.
Okay, let's start with Jeff. I hear you about the traffic signals here and that your concern is pedestrians. But I have to tell you, my experience with those lights is cars are completely confused about how to behave with those lights. And I think you should be considering that given the backup problem that we're gonna have starting Memorial Day weekend because of all the construction and all the one-ways that we've got. Having cars sitting when there's nobody in the road and it's flashing red because
Nobody understands that it's okay to go, and the people coming here are not gonna know it either. So, I think the signage
The
there
signage is very confusing.
is very, very confusing. Anything you can do to facilitate, I don't want anybody to hit a pedestrian, but anything we can do to facilitate traffic over the summer through Guerneville, would be, appreciated. Then so it's not really a question, it's just a comment for you. If you've thought about that, or if you haven't, it'd be worthwhile, I think.
Yeah, we've thought about it. I'll talk to our traffic operations branch to see if they have some ideas. It's much easier to reach pedestrians because they're on foot, you just hang, but the cars are going
Yes, but
through.
they're more in danger of being hit by cars, so it's more on us driving to know what we're supposed to do.
Right,
In order
right.
to protect the pedestrian. And I
Right,
can tell you that I was on Mendocino Avenue yesterday, and they have flashing, pedestrian crossings near the, community college and high school. Very clear signage, like I knew exactly what I was supposed to do as I drove up there.
was it one of these?
So it was not like this.
It was the yellow flashing light.
It was, no, they had red flashing and red solid, but the sign told you, like, you're in a car, you know what to do, so. Maybe take a look at that.
Okay, I mean, I have like something I can pass around that which uses outreach, but it's, like I said, it's hard to reach the guys. You want signs on the cars.
Yeah, it's got it physically there, not online. Well, it's gotta be for the
I don't have
people who are
everyone, but-
coming here in
Yeah.
droves, that they know what to do.
Sure.
Then for Ken, you mentioned, stepping up patrols. Could you be, I represent, sorry, Villa Grande, Monterey. Could you, just be a little more clear on where you patrol and when in the various areas that we represent? Because I know there's sometimes that people would like to know that and know how to get in touch with you if we need help.
Yeah, so each shift, we have 3 shifts a day, an A watch, a B watch, and graveyards. Beat 32 encompasses all the way from 101 to Cazadero Highway. And it also covers Bohemian Highway, Forestville, Guerneville Road, Occidental, the whole West County. So we assign that beat to 1 officer. We have 7 officers, if we're lucky, to cover the entire county. And beat 32 is one of the main beats that we generally will always have coverage on. So there's some overlap between A watch and B watch for about 4 hours. So sometimes you may have 2 officers out here. And then when I have my team available, which is just 2 officers, the high impact traffic team, I'll get the complaints. We've gotten quite a few on Armstrong Woods Road, and I'll deploy them out there as well. So sometimes you could have 3 officers or myself out here too. So it's just all, our office has transitioned from a senior office to now most of our guys have under 5 years experience, a lot of them under 2 years. So it's showing them how to work this river road, get them radar certified. A lot of them aren't even radar certified yet, so they can't even do speed enforcement. We have a class coming up in July, so that'll get some of those guys through that, so then they can actually do enforcement for speeding violations. But like so Moscow Road's a big complaint area. So that's something that Officer Matilde has worked a few times, and he's gone out there, he's counted cars for over 2 hours and how many cars and how many violations, and compiled those numbers and sent them to me. Do you remember those numbers?
I do want to, what you've done in putting some dividers down the middle of the road is extremely helpful, because most of the people who are going like 50 miles an hour down that road, they have to go in the middle of the road because the Moscow Road is so narrow.
Yeah.
When you can't just kind of take up the whole road, you have to slide it slow.
Yeah.
You got Cassini Ranch down there, so you have the big RV.
Thank you for what you've done so far.
Yeah. Well, I would just like to say that, one thing I'd like to see, I live near Mom's Beach.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of parking problems and speeding along River Road problems. And, one thing I noted last year was we had a lot more visible patrolling, which was great. even towing cars, which we never saw before. But I think, it'd be nice if you maybe worked with some of our communities to deal with this. And we can tell you, I told one of the guys who was patrolling, I said, don't come here at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. There's, nobody's here. The beach is, nobody's here yet. Come at 11 or 12, and that's when you see the problems, right? So, I mean, I think
And when you see
guys-
those problems, right, that's usually when we're getting calls for service.
Yes, we are very vocal.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it, but I think what I'm trying to say is we know you have an almost impossible task to cover all of this area. We want to help with that, not make it worse, not complain, but, help you focus on the areas that are really a problem.
Yeah, and then so like Che will get a lot of complaints and then he'll forward them to me and that helps me direct those resources to that particular spot.
Yeah.
Like Hacienda Bridge and that area,
Yes.
so.
Yes.
If we know those hotspots that you guys live by, then that's where I'm gonna try to get my officers to go there.
Great, thank you for that.
In between calls and crashes and everything.
Other council member comments or questions? Okay, Spencer, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a maybe combo question for Sarah and Kelly. I'm thinking about the shuttle and that Guerneville is obviously a high concentration of hotels and places to stay. And I'm curious if we've thought about shuttles from Guerneville or like, do people take the bus or like, what would I recommend? Are we working with hotels? What do hotels recommend? I know that route is very popular for tubing. I'm wondering, honestly, it's been a while. I tend to like personally go paddleboard at Patterson's Point, but we deal with a lot of people and know a lot of hotel people in the area. And I'd love to be able to recommend to them, like, what is the thing I should be telling people that takes as many cars off the road as possible?
Great question. We do tell them to, we
drive to Molino.
Yes, or take the shuttle there. But yeah, and I can also tell you that most of our hotels are really good at warning people about the lack of like Uber and lack of self-service. Warning people, that that's not a reliable form of transportation. But it's an interesting thought and we'd have to kind of think through. Obviously, it always comes down to like financing, but like it's an interesting thought to kind of think through what the impacts are. And I can't remember, are you guys collecting zip code data of people who come on the shuttle? We should it'd be interesting for us to look at that and figure out how many people are utilizing it that are residents versus out of the area. And there might be a way for us to think outside the box around how to get people to that shuttle without putting cars on the road.
Yeah, I'm curious if there is, I know it gets shallow at a certain point and like, where would be the intake if you wanted to end at Johnson's Beach or something?
So we have, Guerneville River Park is just up from Johnson's Beach. That's a regional park property. We put in a fabulous boat launch there, just a couple years ago. And so we have internally explored, trying to expand the shuttle, right? And I think we're always thinking of, we know what the tubing route, popular tubing route is, but is there more that we could eventually do with the shuttle? The challenge is that as a tubing route is a little long. And so right now I think it's figuring out, right, how do you accommodate maybe like multi-recreation, right? How do we do paddling and tube? And that might require a different, bus setup or equipment than we currently have. So it's not off our radar by any means. But it definitely would be sort of a different rec pattern than just the tubers, because that's where, especially, and this is again, goes back to like leave no trace and letting people know how to plan before they get here. If you're trying to do the tubes, float in Memorial Day weekend, right, and getting in the water, it's gonna be a much shorter float than the end of August. It might take 4 hours at the end of August, right? And so trying to say, okay, you're gonna go now between Steelhead or Sunset and all the way down to Guerneville River Park could be just a lot longer of a trip than people buy them.
No, absolutely. And that's why I'm almost thinking of like a new tubing trip that would be like just somewhere up the river from here, probably way downstream from Sunset. And you just ride into to Johnson's and like that's the new trip. If you're staying in Guerneville and don't want to have to like drive to El Molino, get on a shuttle and do all of that. I just wonder if there's a way to like allow people who are already here and staying here to like hop on a shuttle and then they tube back and they're back.
I think we're open to exploring ideas for, I mean, that's where we wanna go eventually, is have it more than just the Steelhead to Sunset route when it makes sense. With figuring out, yeah, what the use patterns are, what the demand might be, so it's definitely something that I think we're open to having additional conversations.
Well,
Yeah.
it's certainly still a sore spot for me that we don't have the shuttle that goes right past Mom's Beach from Steelhead to Sunset. And I know ironically, the issue was we can't get the bus in there because it's too crowded. Yeah, that's a good one, but here's the thing, there's a county bus stop right on River Road, near the entrance into River Drive. So I will ask the question again this year, it's the third year in a row, why shouldn't we have a stop at this beach? That in fact, it's worse sometimes because, you know, they have lot full messages at Steelhead and guess what happens? We're the next beach up. So just a thought.
Yeah, I think logistically, it's not the first place where we've had an issue, you know, the buses that run the river shuttle right now, there are 33 seat buses. And I think, you know, again, it's like looking at what are these different use patterns, so Guerneville River Park also proved a little challenging with getting, you know, the larger size bus, so is it a smaller bus that we're asking our contractors to, potentially use if we're trying to look at different stops, so.
Well, the county buses are large buses, so it's a bus stop that accommodates a county bus. Okay, I won't say anything else. Any question? Nick? No.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let's let somebody else who hasn't explained that. Nick?
Quick comment on the crossing signals. One time, in the evening, I was, driving to Safeway. And the crossing signal was just cycling itself. There was nobody in sight. It was like 10 o'clock at night. There was nobody in sight and it was just going through all the steps over and over. And I came back out of Safeway 20 minutes later and it was still going. Nobody in sight. So obviously I have no idea why that happened, but that.
How long ago was that?
3 weeks.
3 weeks? All right, I'll bring it up to the team and see if they can check it. If it was late earlier than that, we had a lot of problems with that. It was too sensitive. You know, it's supposed to, there's a hand signal as well. But like, it was like a bird would set it off or something like that. So it's good that we're getting the latest and greatest, but it's not good that it was so sensitive. So I'll talk to them and see if there's some bugs in which, do you remember the one by the safe?
This one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Betsy, did you have a question?
I have three. Okay. Well, I have two comments and a question. So for Jeff, my comment is that traffic is gonna be even worse in the summertime coming from the west because of the stoplight.
Yes.
Cause then masses of cars come.
Right.
At the same time, and they're gonna be stopping in each block here. Because we have constant crossers, so that's a big concern, it's not just coming into town, it's coming back from the beach. So that's a concern. I have a suggestion about a beach run from Guerneville. Once that stoplight and landslide is gone, maybe from Guerneville River Park to Vacation Beach. Which would be a good size float. Not too long and not too short. And lots of good places along the way. And Cindy, I have a question for you. Your new program, your new software, whatever you're talking about, are you talking about aerial surveillance?
No, sorry, maybe that was a little ambiguous. So there's a program called Fireside, and our state partners have used this for some time. Marin County's used it a lot up in Truckee area. So this is a really, really well vetted program that's worked across the state. that we've implemented this year. Some agencies have used it a little early on, but through some of the Measure H funding, we were able to get that software and get it into the hands of multiple agencies across the county. So no, it's not aerial surveillance, but it does have very intuitive technology. And there are, and I'm not the one to speak to this because I am not the technology person, but I will tell you that the program can do things even showing if a fire is happening in a certain location and you are in a separate location. It will show you sort of what the slope, what the wind, what the rate is, how quickly that fire could or would get to you as well. And that is at the fingertips sort of all of us on the line and those of us working in fire prevention. So this program has much more than that. I am not the one to talk about it in all of its capacities, and I would love to make sure that we get information out to you, letting you know what some of those bigger pieces are for it.
So this is more about fire watch than it is about monitoring properties for overgrown vegetation.
No, this is really about those boots on the ground vegetation inspections. So this is what this program is designed, and it's got everything from how all those pieces that are 13A, which is our vegetation ordinance here in Sonoma County, as well as the state ordinances that we intersect with, which would be the Public Resource Code 4291, the fire code, all of those pieces that play a role in how we look at what people are responsible for. This program is used to go out and do boots on the ground inspections. This program also, we are able to input the data of where fire breaks have been put in, where there's firewise communities, where it's a platform finally where we can put a lot of information that we've all siloed in, and now we can have it all right in our face. A great example is I've worked with our CAL FIRE unit for years where, the chief will come to me and say, hey, we're looking at inspecting Summer Home Park. And I'll say, hey, we just did that this last summer. And he says, okay, well, then we'll jump over and do Hacienda. And I go, perfect. So we've been kind of making sure that we're setting our footprint down and supporting each other, not just in our local agencies, but with our CAL FIRE partners.
So what I should be doing is sucking away a little more money to save up and get my oak tree trimmed.
Well, I'm sure I can't attest to that, but I will come out and look at it if you want my advice.
I have a tree guy right down the street. And
Okay.
he's already, when I have the cash.
Chair Clues, well, Cindy has the floor there. Cindy, do you want to talk about the vacation rental safety program that was mentioned earlier?
I do as soon as I plug in my laptop because it's dying. I am embarrassed. I apologize. Yes, I will do that. 1 second.
Sorry, I put you on.
No, I should have been there in person. So, okay. So I did. Thank you so much from our partners at the tourism board for bringing up the vacation rental piece. I apologize for missing that. So we, as a fire district, last year stood up a vacation rental inspection program, an annual program at this point. We may consider in the future moving it to every other year. But right now, this has been a really critical program for us. And one of the pieces is it's not just inspecting the vacation rental for fire and life safety, but at the same time that we're out there, we're doing a 13A inspection, which is the vegetation management inspection. So we're making sure that these properties are not just safe, the structure and where the occupants will be, but we want to make sure there's defensible space around the structure and that there are key components that these visitors know their evacuation zone, know where they're at, what their address is, how to register for alerts. So, unfortunately, as we stood this program up, we found a lot of people were signing affidavits that their property met the criteria that, frankly, once we got out there, it wasn't meeting that. And we found that more sometimes I'm sure nobody here has any of those issues, but we've found sometimes the private ownerships sometimes are a little less maybe a little more inclined to sign the affidavit and not have other ducks in a row. We've really had great relationships with our property management companies because they're really helping us get that message across, and also making sure with their interactions with the properties that those that they are holding them accountable and keeping those properties safe. During the Tubbs fire in my fire district, we had 2 people die in vacation rentals. So this is where this came kind of to the forefront for me, is we have people coming into our community that are from out of this country, out of this state, and may have zero idea when they come into our landscape, because some of it is actually, you can tell that we had a conflagration here in 2017. So they may be blissfully unaware. So it just was really important to us to make sure that we're getting out and we're working with our vacation rental owners. This isn't about enforcement. This is really about making sure that we're educating them and that these properties are safe for our visitors, and the liability for our property owners is reduced. And we're making sure that we get these people educated in the event that something happens in our community. Sorry, thank you.
No, that's great. Thank you.
I've never heard vacation rental property managers talk more positively about an enforcement program ever, but they speak so highly of the fire district and what they're doing. And I think as residents, I'm super appreciative of, they're looking at street signage. Is street signage appropriate? Could a fire truck get up the road to your house? Or the trees out of the way? Is every, if you've said you have 3 bedrooms, or all 3 of those rooms actually bedrooms, do they actually have windows? So, and they've done it in a way that comes with education and kindness versus like dropping a huge hammer. So I think, I cannot speak more highly about the program.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Can I sort of segue on that, and for both you, Cindy, and you, Kelly? So, I live on a street where, right where I live, there's only 2 full-time residents. Most of the houses are, family homes, but some of them are vacation rentals. And I constantly take it upon myself, especially during red flag warnings, to go and talk to people and tell them, hey, you can't actually have a fire right now, and so what I was hoping that you can have is something like you were talking about, these little sort of handouts, but that for vacation rental owners, that they have these little booklets, because I've seen them where I've rented emergency stuff, but in the event of or here's where you can find out about that, because, we live in a forest, and I don't want somebody to inadvertently have, a little s'mores and create a conflagration on my street that will go up and down. So is there something like that?
Yep. That is part of the affidavit that they sign, that they create a binder that has those things we talked about, right? We need to know what your evacuation zone is. What is the address where you're at? What are some of the rules? No open burning, because the vacation rental properties are not allowed to have open burning. What are the streets? What are the evacuation routes? So those are required as part of their license and permit through the County of Sonoma, but it's an affidavit process. And unfortunately, we've learned affidavits sometimes don't necessarily equate to what's actually happening on the property. So we've had properties where there are no smoke alarms. We've had properties where tough sheds are turned into a sleeping room with no egress window. We've had basement rooms turned into sleeping rooms with no way out. We've had 3 fires in vacation rental properties related to three related to torch burning. So somebody using one of those propane torches to do vegetation management. We've had 3 of those in vacation rentals. We've had, just in the last year, we've had 2 from discarded smoking materials. So it's really important that we're out there. This is our community. These are visitors to our community, and anything that we can do to get ahead of this, just like any type of fire prevention, fuel management, whatever we're doing, education, if we can save one, if we can stop one fire, it's worth it.
And it's part of the ordinance. We also have a downloadable PDF that's built for the binder. That does, it's got a map, it's got, the property owner can write in their evacuation zone, they're required to have a landline or a NOAA weather radio, and we really encourage that they have the NOAA weather radio in them. So, the ordinance has been written in a way that it should do all of those things, but two things. One, it's that affidavit, and then the other thing is, and we're doing a lot of education around this, are things where they're readily accessible in case of an emergency. And the example that was used was if you had to call 911 and let's say I'm the person that booked the vacation rental, the confirmation's on my phone and I'm the one having the medical emergency. Does my husband have the address? Because what if it's on my, and so that education piece about having the address prominently displayed. So if someone does have to call in an emergency, you know where you're going. So this all just comes back to that education piece. And while it all should happen when they get their license, sometimes they need those extra reminders. So we will continue to do that education. It is harder for us to connect with individual owners than it is for us to connect with our property management companies. But we have worked, Debbie, I got for the first time this last year, she sent me a list, she's like, here's every vacation rental that has a license in the county. So that's been super helpful. So,
But the places where people are gonna call are like Russian River Rentals or some of these other, do you segue with them as
we
well?
do. We work very closely with the property, and we actually have a vacation. We are, we have a vacation rental committee that meets quarterly, and a lot of those property management companies are plugged in with us through that as well.
Great, well, thank you. Thank you, Cindy.
Barry, you had another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. This is for Sarah and Ellie. Sarah, quick, just kind of mentioned that at Steelhead Beach, I really love that there are site hosts. And I noticed last year and this year that there seem to be multiple hosts that reside there throughout the time. And it looks though it almost becomes a little homestead there. And I'm wondering if there's any sort of idea about how many RVs can be there and what the plan is. I'm just more curious about who sets that up and what that was about. I'm really, really happy to hear about the collaborative Leave No Trace, because as somebody who lives near there, it's really hard to go, you go on a Monday through Thursday and everything is trampled. So I'm really interested in hearing, you said July you have this pilot program.
The River Ambassadors.
The River Ambassadors.
Yeah, the hope is to get that up in early July before.
And how will you look for some feedback on that so that you can kind of get a sense of how that's working and what's needed?
Yeah, I'll start with that. That's a good question. So again, we're partnering with Russian River Keeper on that.
Okay.
This is being modeled after a very successful program up in the Yuba River area called Yuba River Keepers. And so, it'll be similar but different. And I think we will be learning as we go. Russian River Keeper is very open to community feedback to help us shape this program. So I know, I think it's trash at russianriverkeeper.org is their email address. And I know that they are welcoming, kind of questions and feedback specifically around, as this program takes place. So I think that's the best way, is for people to just stay engaged, and we're going to be listening and taking the feedback into account for sure. And then, sorry, what were the other questions?
It was about the site hosts and who determines how many live on that space.
Yeah, so the site and Steelhead's not the only place where we have site hosts. That program is managed through our volunteer program. Our volunteer coordinator hires all of our site or camp hosts. We have Spring Lake and Doran is in other places. So in terms of how many we'll have, I am under the impression it's one site host, but it changes every year. So I'm not sure if it'll be the same coming back as it was last year. That's something I can follow up on and get information for you, but I don't know if we'll be having who was there last year again returning, and if there'll be a change in the number.
Thank you.
So,
There was 3 and there's looks to be 3 again this year. So
okay, okay.
Yeah, and so thank you. I appreciate you looking at that. And
Okay.
just really quick, I just wanted to say, Kelly, when you were here, I think last year, and we talked, did you ever figure out if now working with Permit Sonoma, when somebody does file for a vacation rental, is there more information now that is given to them? How'd that work out?
So there were some changes at Permit Sonoma in the last year, and so there's been some transition. The new director, Scott Orr, has been very open to collaboration, so nothing had happened since we last talked, but that is what, one of the follow-ups was Debbie actually here's the entire list.
And Permit Sonoma assisted with that.
Yeah, what we don't get right now is as someone comes online, we don't have a regular cycle, but that's something we could work it, we can work out, because
we have that same struggle.
Yeah, so I have talked to Scott, he just became a director in the last couple of months and has been very open to feedback, so.
Can I ask a quick follow-up to that?
Sure.
Just recently, there was a Facebook conversation, forgive me. I followed it, about someone posting for a vacation rental on Guerneville Locals, which is permitted as a hosted rental, but advertised as a 3-bedroom, non-hosted.
Okay.
Is anyone monitoring how the permit compares to the advertisement?
Well,
You want that job?
I don't. I think a couple things. One is, there is.
Because I would think that a hosted rental it's the owner that's responsible for educating and caring for the people who are staying there, and therefore getting them out if there's an emergency or, whatever.
And the requirements for hosted versus non-hosted rentals are different. But there is a complaint line that anybody can call about a vacation rental that they've got an issue with. So my encouragement would be to the neighbor who notices that that's happening to pick up the phone and call Permit Sonoma and call the complaint line about that. We're not, again, we don't do enforcement, but absolutely encourage everybody following how the ordinance reads, and that would be my suggestion to anybody who saw something like that.
Yeah, and if I may, it would be a code enforcement issue.
Yeah.
And it would, and code enforcement doesn't go out looking for violations.
Right.
So it would be based on
a
a complaint.
And if I could jump in, so that is a piece also that we've actually picked up on during our inspections. And while that is not anything that we have authority to enforce, we have found homes where we have those situations where a walk-in closet is turned into a bedroom, and they're calling that a bedroom, and there's no egress window out of that. And so when we're doing these life safety inspections, we're actually picking up on pieces of that, and we're working directly with code enforcement on that. When we find something in a vacation rental that is a direct life safety hazard, we've worked with them to red tag rooms, red tag parts of a house. Not that that's what we want to do. We have zero interest in any of that. We just want to educate, keep the community safe. But we work really closely with code enforcement, and we have had to send multiple cases to them of things that we catch that aren't our enforcement, like too many bedrooms, not appropriate bedrooms. There's no way you could sleep 10 people in this house. So we see that when we're out there, and if we have a concern about it, we go direct with code enforcement.
Anybody else on the council? If not, we'll move to public comments or questions. Yes, remember the length of time.
I just have a few questions. I'll be quick, I promise. My name is James. I'm from Monterey. I'm sure everybody knows who I am. So first of all, thank you all for being here tonight. I own riverfront property, so I have a unique perspective. The first question I have is, has anybody ever bothered to study the capacity for the lower Russian River? Like, how many cars can our roads support? How many people can our infrastructure support? And do we have that data at all? And if so, who has it? 'Cause I've never been able to find it. The second thing is, this is actually a question for these two ladies and for this gentleman, but not for you. And for the lady on the screen, do all of you, both the people who work for the government or for an NGO, have KPIs? So in business, we have something called key performance indicators. where we as the public can judge the efficacy of your department and what you are doing to earn the taxpayer dollar. So for example, we are averaging now 3 deaths by drowning per year. That's a statistic. That's for sure. So what exactly, we hear a lot of anecdotal evidence as the public, but I'm just curious, do you have any KPIs? Thank you.
James. Anybody else in the?
Sure. Can I answer the question? Hi. I'm Michelle Piracina from Monterey, and my question is mostly for tourism and Caltrans, but might impact others. Prior to the big weekends coming up, what are you doing to message out to people in the Bay Area about our traffic situation? Not only in Guerneville, but also especially the 112 there between Monterey and Guerneville, because every community west of Burnwood Park is gonna be impacted substantially. I mean, I can just imagine what the lines are gonna be of traffic that weekend, especially if it's nice weather weekend. People trying to get to like Monterey, which is now the largest of the largest beach open to the public. So, and then people going out to the coast. It's gonna be a mess. So is there any messaging that's going to be going out, whether it's in print material, radio, whatever?
You can answer if you have an answer.
I think it's probably my question. So far, I think, well, there are some of those orange, we call them changeable message signs, electronic message signs, and I would have to look to see where they're located to warn about the delays. It may just be preceding it by a mile. So we have that.
Sorry, but do you have anything like, if people are coming up from, Oakland, San Jose, San Francisco, do you have anything that's gonna warn them that they should add extra time? Just, factor in extra time for getting to wherever they're going.
Right, well, you're saying your marketing.
I mean,
Yeah, we've run into some problems using the CMS signs in non-urgent situations. We've had that question before. People like a warning CMS signs saying, bad traffic. Those are always problematic because some people want the traffic, like businesses want the traffic and they don't want people to be warned off. So the only thing we could do would be to use something like Twitter to remind people, or put out a news release, but that generally, it's just not big enough. Really, what's happening is it gets put on Google Maps and Apple Maps and Waze.
Let's let Kelly speak to this, please.
yeah, so I think we do have to consider how people intake information, in that type of consideration. So, what we see on average is when someone sees our ad, it takes them 30 days to come into the destination. And the way that we know that is happening is that it sounds very big brotherish because it is, and I can tell you, we're not the only people that are using this technology. But if you see one of our ads in your house with your IP address, and then that is attached to your phone, when your phone actually comes into the destination, we know that you saw our ad and then came. So we actually can tell on average how long it takes. What the question addresses is right in advance of those weekends. So what we need to think about, and I do think that there's something to be said for that messaging on the way here, the signs, but is how soon in advance people need to see that plan.
Yeah.
So 30 days, it's probably not going to be the correct messaging for a large weekend. We can certainly do, like, we do the app messaging, but that's usually, that hits when someone's in the destination already, so it's not gonna address that particular issue. And certainly something I'm happy to talk to our marketing team a little bit more about, but I think we need to think about other ways that people get their information about planning their actual travel to get here.
Well, even people who are going from Santa Rosa or Sebastopol to the coast, it would make sense to suggest Bodega Avenue as opposed to 116.
Yeah,
somehow.
it's pretty late when you see the sign, you're already
Oh, yeah.
on your way.
But there's signage on the 111, and
Yeah.
there's other ways to.
It's a really good point though, thank you.
I mean, I was gonna say, I understand that the businesses want these people, but I think they want happy people coming and happy we're sitting on traffic.
And not going crazy in the road.
Yes. Vesta, did you have a question?
Vesta Code 6 Forestville. Briefly, Caltrans, the West County Trail exists from Sebastopol to Forestville and eventually down to River Road to keep people from riding bicycles on Highway 116. If you put in a bike trail, they're gonna ride it. They do not currently, many people take the trail. If you can even put a bypass from Packing House Road to the trail coming out into the downtown park, which would bring them onto Mirabel Road, it would eliminate the need for something that's designated in downtown Forestville. That it would be more the lines of, yes, the cars can get out of the way and not lose the parking spaces. Because that's what the West County Trail is for, safe bicycle riding along that corridor. That's all I got for you. The rest is for all of you. You know, I live in Steelhead, right up the hill from Steelhead Beach. So Steelhead Beach is a huge issue for me. 9 a.m. to noon every weekend. It's a madhouse. There is no center turn lane for Steelhead Beach. So people coming from the west to the east tend to go around cars that are trying to get into the beach. People coming from the east to the west pile up all along River Road, all the way to Mirabel Road, trying to get into the park until those signs come up. And then some of them maybe go someplace else, like you say, Mom's Beach, the next beach. The backup is so intense that people start doing stupid things. So in terms of your work, there are, maybe somebody could monitor the entrance to Steelhead Beach from 9 a.m. to noon on weekends, especially the holiday weekends. And then also, because people now, there's like, my neighborhood got the no parking signs, part of it. But then they go down Trenton Road towards Spears Market. Spears Market is now allowing people to park in their parking lot to go to Steelhead Beach. There are people parking along Mirabel Road all the way up to Spears Market and Trenton Road. They are walking to the beach with their floaters. So in the land of floaters, if they don't, they're actually putting their floaters in the middle of the street to pump them up out of their cars and then carrying the floaters down the roads on both sides of River Road to get to the entrance to Steelhead Beach, which is extremely dangerous with their kids, with their cars.
That's the we've got.
Yeah, so I know, an hour and a half for that. Could we have monitoring for those busy days for people crossing? There's no crosswalks, there's nothing. So that's the big deal, is it's extremely dangerous. And then just in terms of one other thing with Steelhead Beach, I've talked to them about the ladder fuels in the park. All along River Road, there are serious ladder fuels of vines going up the trees. If a spark hits a fire there, it's gonna hit our neighborhoods because we're all uphill from Steelhead Beach. Thank you.
Thank you, let's go with that. Anyone else? Steve, yes?
Were you gonna speak?
Sure. I'm gonna leave because I have to go back and clean, but okay. I do have notes. I'm Mags. I run Picnic Town Market downtown, for those of you who don't know me. I have a pretty good pulse on Main Street because I'm there at 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. I have questions for everybody and some comments and all that. Hopefully I don't go over my time. Some of these things may be redundant because I kind of go in the bubble and out the bubble sometimes. Jeff, do you have any knowledge about the construction that's going on 116 to here and making it more ergonomic for people in this, not ergonomic, and that it can flow better so that it's not like a stop and go? Can those, because I know that they're different projects, but can they be timed?
Yeah, they,
Let's finish your 2 minutes.
Yeah.
and then-
Yeah, okay, all right. Also the QR codes. People aren't interested in learning about crossings, they just need to be told what to do. That's sort of my take on it. I've had people come into the shop. And everybody's like, just what am I supposed to do? You know, that they're not gonna look up with their Wi-Fi code.
Also, love the idea of the shuttle from Guerneville. I think in front of the chamber would be an awesome spot, of course, for it to have people be picked up. During fire season, is Cindy around still? Does the public Wi-Fi for ECAC still work? Will still work when, if there is, when fires happening, blah, blah, blah? Can people come downtown and use Wi-Fi for communication still at that point? I know it's up and running now, but just in case. Also, one-way streets, small windy roads, do they get evacuated quicker? Like, what are those, is there a plan in place for evacuations happening quicker in those neighborhoods? What else can I ask? Oh, I was hoping that, say on the 101, when it's damn it. Is there such a thing as having something on that end from the beach, the Sonoma coast, and at the end of River Road that just says it's gonna be this long to go to the east or the west, just like when you're on the highway, so people at least know where they're at, and then that way they just know what's happening. And had one more thing, the inflators at the beach, can you guys have actual inflators at the beaches so they don't have to come up at? So is there like a sign or something that can go up so that they know that not to inflate at Spears and they won't be walking through the road with inflated?
Okay, let's let people answer
Okay,
the.
yeah, and I have like 5 more, but.
So you can go first if you have an answer. There are inflators.
Yes, there are inflation stations at Steelhead Beach. We have power there. And so, yeah, I think we have information for the cars that are lining up, especially with the staffed kiosk, where we're letting people know, hey, parking lot is full. Here's a map. Here's how you get to El Molino to take the shuttle. So we are really successfully redirecting people when that parking lot's full, capturing people who have already parked and are walking in. That's maybe a puzzle that we haven't necessarily solved. So if they're already just bypassing the entry station and just parking and walking, trying to figure out maybe how to capture those folks a little bit more. That comes from sort of more of our social media messaging, which we really ramp up, which is, if you're headed to the Russian River, here's the things to know. We really run that every weekend through the summer. Again, I think just trying to get more creative and be proactive with that.
Thanks. And then the idea of, it'll take you this long to get from 101 to the coast even. I mean, that seems like a really good idea to me.
Yeah, it would be difficult, but I don't know. I'll research it and see if I can find out.
And then I think the other question was about timing of.
Timing the lights. It's on 90 seconds, 90 seconds, and 90 seconds right now. So that means that traffic going westbound has 90 seconds to get through, then you wait 90 seconds for it to clear, and 90 seconds going the other way.
Why is it 90 seconds? Like, can it be like 60 seconds and 60 seconds, or does that actually make things slower, or does it make it smoother?
They're trying to flush as much traffic as they can. The ultimate is the flaggers are the best with radios, but then you're running up huge costs. But I mean, I can talk to Brian tomorrow and find out and get back to you and Shay and everyone, see if they can tinker with it a little bit more. I know there's probably a commute direction and not a commute direction, but they've been trying to keep it at a level where it works.
Well, I know you can't go very fast through there. Of course, it's a small lane and there's construction on one side, so we certainly don't want to encourage people to race through. But it does seem to me that there's some kind of lag when I've done it. You're sitting there, you're sitting there, and nobody's coming by for a while. And then nobody's going the other direction. So
and I would say anything on a Friday, prioritizing people going out, and Sunday people coming back in. I feel like that would probably move traffic through quicker if that's possible. But,
I'll see. I'll check.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you had a question of the capacity. you can actually, we have our traffic counts online. They're not giving you the capacity, but they're giving you how many cars go through at on the peak month, how many cars go through in the summer, on the slowest month, how many go on the busiest
I'm
month.
thinking more of safety. So like what I'm specifically talking about is if there was like a wildfire evacuation, how many cars could we safely evacuate from the lower Russian River? I mean, because in the summertime.
Sorry, James, we're getting outside some of what we can discuss right now, so.
Okay.
It was a good point, and we'll think about it for future meetings.
Fair enough.
Other questions, Steve, you had.
Yeah, Steve,
If I can just real quick, Steve, just to answer the EQAC question, EQAC is getting transferred to We Conduit, which is a local nonprofit. And we'll continue to have the free Wi-Fi downtown with a battery backup and Starlink for emergency communications during events.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
I didn't know that.
Good info. Steve, wanted to ask, Jeff and possibly Che regarding the, right of ways on the roads, whether for county roads, does Caltrans or CHP have anything to do with mile markers? If there's no mile markers on a county road, which there are several within where I am on the river, is that a county jurisdiction that has to be brought to infrastructure to get mile markers? How do you get mile markers on your road?
Well, we wouldn't do the county routes, but we do the state routes, and so you could just email me or someone.
It's a county road.
Oh, it's a county road, they're gonna have to put the mile markers on.
SPI?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess that's follow up with SPI.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes. Oh. okay.
Yeah, I'm Jane from Rio Nito. We had our board meeting with the sheriffs the other day. And what came up was a little subject about the, cleanup of Guerneville for the summer. The parking and things. And so just a couple quick questions, and the sheriff, of course, pointed to you guys and said, no, it's the CHP's deal. So my question is this road by Safeway and the post office, is that like a utility road where it's an 8-hour parking as opposed to residential road where it's 72-hour parking?
I believe that's a 72 zone, right?
I believe so. It is, but we are putting the no parking ordinance.
Yeah, they're working on that, and then we'll tag them and they'll move them, 100 feet,
Okay.
and then
Oh,
they'll
so,
rip the sticker off.
You're talking about the RVs.
okay, so that's why they don't get towed.
Yeah, if they have expired registration, then we have an avenue to take them.
Okay.
But yeah, there is some, we did tow 5 yesterday, so. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and the tow companies don't want them, but it's part of their contract too, so. Yeah, there's a whole thing with towing on this.
Okay, ladies' choice, somebody come up.
Okay, I'll go. I'm ready. I was torn for this, no. Meg. So clearly this radio station is not gonna be ready for this summer season. That said, flood season will be here soon. The calendar moves very quickly, and we'll be back here again in 12 months, kind of doing this same fabulous dog and pony show. My goals and our goals for this station are really resident centric, of course, but I think it's unwise for us to pretend like our vacation visitors are not also critical to our own ability to stay safe and to protect our residents. If heaven forbid the day comes where there is a wildfire event out here during the summer, it will be the vacation people that have no idea what to do and nowhere to go and completely unprepared and in panic mode. So in addition to trying to build this tower and moving through the FCC process, which we already have our construction permit, and all of that is happening, one of my additional goals is to put a radio in every home in Monterrey, including our vacation rentals, with a sticker with our call sign and our frequency on it. And so in hearing about how you liaise with vacation rental owners and what that looks like, I would love to get to a point where I can learn more about how that works and how we as the station might be able to kind of dovetail into that and provide a yet another opportunity to interact with our visitors, because I will be Susie High School and everyone in Monterey will know like to tune in because I'm super invested in this, but it's the people that come to visit that won't, and I worry significantly about that. Particularly because in some of the reporting that I did about the Tufts fire, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence and stories about people who came to wine country to holiday and wound up surviving because they jumped in a pool and spent there 8 hours overnight, right? Or there are all these other stories. And so I'm throwing that out there with the idea that I would love to continue future discussions with a number of people around the table.
Thank you.
I have some thoughts and I'm happy to talk to you about it.
Let's do it. I can give you my.
Would you like to come up and answer the question?
It kind of goes off of that one then. I'm Carrie and I live out in Vacation Beach. And that is off and Neely out to Orchard and a loop. And with that dam, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to address this to. If the dam doesn't go up or the summer bridge doesn't go in, which we worry about for the last 3 years now. We're stuck out there. If there's a fire, of course, plus whatever, we have time to get out. If there's a fire, we don't. And I've been told they're not gonna send them in to save us when that puts them in immediate danger. So we're sitting ducks out there. I just wanna know, and like 7 of my neighbors were supposed to be here tonight and none of them are here. They're
Well, thank
the
you for
only
coming
ones.
up.
Yeah.
Can I, sorry.
Yeah, the bridge will go in no matter if the dam does or not. The bridge will go in no matter if the dam doesn't.
The bridge, okay,
Yeah, that
that's
is a
good
public
news.
infrastructure
That's an
project.
action how
The
to get
dam
out
is a
there.
special district, totally different.
What is that date?
It depends on the.
Usually the 15th of
It
June.
depends on what?
The river flow.
Yeah.
But it's usually
I can cross it right now.
I'm not an engineer, I can't speak.
It has been for the last several years. I live on Neely,
Okay,
June 15th. Somewhere in that neighborhood.
well, I know I see what it says, like it when it's supposed to, I just wanted to know if it's actually.
They've been pretty good the last few years.
I mean, anybody else concur with that, June 15th? Is it gonna be any sooner when we've got, who warned us about fire coming up and?
So is it appropriate for me to comment on fire right now? Okay, because I think you made the comment that you were concerned that we would not, oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, okay. So I'm not quoting you, but I think you said you were concerned that we wouldn't go if our community, if one single person, if one single home is in danger, there is not a conversation we have that we say we won't go. We will do everything we can, whether we have a bridge or not, to do our best to get there. And I know that maybe that just seems a little pie in the sky, but I just want to let you know there is not a conversation that we stop and have, oh, no, we're not going there. We're going to figure it out. And that's not to say that there aren't places that are really dangerous for us to go and commit to. But I will tell you that life over property is our first priority. And we will make a calculated risk all day long and twice on Sunday to make sure that we protect this community.
Thank you for that. And I appreciate you saying that.
Sorry, we need to keep moving on.
Not too much.
No. Anyone else in the
One-on-one.
one-on-one? Nobody else in the room? Okay.
All right, Michael Rex, you can now talk. Gotta unmute yourself there, Michael.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's so great hearing from everyone. I own the bookstore in Guerneville, Books and Letters, which I hope to see you all there purchasing books. But I think one thing I sort of hear and it's disconnect is like how information is getting out to people who are visiting here or like even live here. And I think there's a lot of ways to be much more creative about getting that information out. I mean, I'm not a visitor center, I'm a bookstore, but spend so much time talking to people about navigating the Lower Russian River. And I think that there is a way for us to get information out, especially to visitors, through local business. And I think we're like missing that mark.
Good point.
Should every business have like an information sheet?
Thank you, Micah.
Oh, good idea.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Good idea.
No more online share.
Okay, no,
No more
no
public
more
comments.
online? Okay.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Wow, that was.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
By the way, we did ask, we tried to get someone from the sheriff's office here, but there was conflict with us. But we really appreciate all of you. Thank you. Sorry.
Item 8.
Yeah, one more. We're not, I'm not adjourning. I'm letting.
They were
You will know when I adjourn.
That's the meeting that you're welcome to if you would like.
Saying that you guys.
Yeah, I can see whether they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
They'll pick up like.
It's not for your window space.
Thank you.
There's a question on here about the department of the.
Yeah.
Can the conversations go outside, please? Che, if you need more conversation, we need to keep rolling the meeting now.
We still have, you guys can leave.
Okay.
We have.
You Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we'll get to item number 8, which I think everybody's excited about. I hope they are. And that is that the rules have changed around our ability to have hybrid meetings for council members. So it's changed at the state level and then the county reviewed it. There are a list of things, of course, that rules that have to be followed, all of which are on this agenda. Debbie, did you want to go through the rules just like really quick?
I can do that very quickly, yes. It's very similar to the rules that we had when it was with Just Cause. So if somebody's attending remotely, they actually incorporate into this that if you lose bandwidth, you may turn off your camera. That wasn't part of the rule before, but they want you to have your camera on if possible, sound, and then all of the votes would be by roll call if anybody is remote, and that's how we've been doing it. The county sent me a little like workbook for clerks of boards that are eligible for using this, so I'll just make sure that we comply with all of them. But as far as your perspective as representatives, you would have the ability to attend remotely if you can't be here in person.
And you have to say if there are other.
And you do, you announce that
There,
the
yes.
same thing, if there's anybody over 18 years of age in the room with you, you disclose that. All votes by roll call, and it sunsets at the end of 2029.
Unless
it gets continued. And also, the MAP could opt out of it at any point, or the Board of Supervisors could opt eligible bodies out of it again.
Gotcha.
Quick questions?
Yes.
Are we supposed to tell you if we cannot be here in person and therefore will be remote?
Yeah.
Yes, because you would need a panelist link.
Okay.
So it would be the same logistics that it had been before. You let me know. And we can talk about like just, I don't think there's anything in the statute about how far in advance you would have to let me know, but there's certain logistical things. Once I start sound check, it's hard to create a panelist link. once I'm live. So
Well,
just
it
things like
seems good
that,
Practice to let you know.
as
far
soon as possible. Right, right.
Just to be clear, there would be no restriction on the number of times per year that we can attend.
No,
No.
there's no restriction.
And there's no restriction on the number of representatives that are attending remotely.
Right.
There has to be an in-person location. So even if you're all attending from home, I'll be here.
Yeah.
To greet the
Sorry,
public.
Debbie.
That's fine.
But
It's fine. It's where all my equipment is.
For no cause, I mean,
No.
Yeah,
in the past, it was.
for cause.
Now it's,
Huh,
Now, yeah, and that's
So-
something that the legislature worked through. They were working on it and then it didn't make it through and then they worked on it again. So this is, I think, the third pass
okay.
of,
I think all of us feel like this is good for us all, but one of the things that I think of is that the challenge I have in replacing myself has been people who, like me, don't drive at night and, so I'm hoping that this opens it up to people who couldn't do this before. As well as, maybe younger family people who can be at home with their kids when they do this. So I'm excited about it for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say, and Friends of Villa Grande, we do all of our board meetings by Zoom. I sure hope people keep coming here in person some. It's
Yeah.
my intention to be here unless I just can't. And I hope there will continue to be some in-person participation, because it really is different if everybody's running.
Yes.
Agreed.
It is, it's harder to have that.
I like the option, but I do like to attend in person, even though it was hard for me to get here today.
Well, you have comfort the farthest region.
So do we need a motion?
Well, let me get to it. Is there any more discussion? No, I think we're good.
Do we have to do
Do we do a?
Do we have
regular
to discuss
voice
it,
vote.
with the public?
oh, there does, yeah, well, you can, yeah,
Comments from the public?
yeah. Is there any?
Any of you care?
This is the topic, so.
You can call it now. So
moved.
So, well, who did, Patty, did you make the
Yeah,
motion?
did you have?
No, Nick just did.
Oh, I like that you guys are saying what you're saying about trying to be present and giving yourself the option.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that, the fact that we live in an area that has landslides and floods,
Yeah.
it makes
sense to have the option.
Right. Yeah. Okay, one more
I will
comment.
make a public comment now that I know the topic. We also live in a place where it can take 35 minutes to get anywhere.
Yes.
Like sometimes it's just inconvenient,
Yes.
unfortunately, to have to add an extra hour and 10 minutes to do the one thing you need to do because of just the topography and the geography of where we live. So like as a resident, I'm not at all offended, or I don't find it all shady that you would want to zoom in sometimes. I think that's completely reasonable expectation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be shady.
I will tell you that today, coming from Santa Rosa, at 5 p.m. was a nightmare.
Well, that's the way it is. So, okay, so I'm hearing,
So I heard
one comment online,
Okay.
okay.
Vera, you can speak now.
Yeah, I wish I would have called in earlier for, anyways, I'm totally in support of you guys going remote. That I think it's gonna open up a lot of opportunity for people that, wouldn't be able to do this unless they could do it remotely. That's awesome. Can I make a comment? I just want to compliment the District 5 group. So can I put my hand back up and be addressed for that in a minute?
We're sort of at the end of the road here, Vera, but we appreciate that you appreciate the D5 staff. They're amazing. That's on the record too.
Sent out the Ethics Global team. That was awesome for the fire at Fife Creek.
Okay, thank you.
Very appreciative. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Vera. Anybody else online? Sure.
Nope.
Okay, so.
So we have a motion from Patty.
Okay.
No, Nick.
From Nick.
And I'm seconding.
Okay, so Nick. And then Patty. And then you can just.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed? It passes. Just one other comment, by the way, I'm not the one who keeps jumping the gun here, though. Our next meeting will, the May 27th, it's a, on the West County Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District, and it will be at the Monterey Community.
No, that meeting will be here, and it's not a meeting of the MAC, it's a meeting of the
No, but
Public
we're
Financing
requesting
Authority.
The MAC.
But the MAC intent is being
Yes, we're
invited to
requesting,
attend.
which is why we will not be having a June meeting, since we're really asking you to do 2 meetings in May. So our next regular meeting will be July 9th.
If we can get here.
20,
We'll leave now.
20. I wrote 2024.
I will.
Whoa.
That was everything.
That was a.
It was like, oh, that was like.